After your second album, into I think the summer of 2015, you decided to focus on other projects for a while. And then you had your solo album, Right On.
Yes.
So what was it like going through that process in comparison to the whole Warpaint thing?
That process was super liberating. It was really fun. I had an amazing time recording that album with Norm Block. I had actually the time of my life recording, lots of laughter. He's amazing, so much fun to be around. I felt really comfortable around him. The whole experience felt extremely open, really loving. I felt really safe to be able to express myself and be vulnerable. And I think that's important when you're making an album, to be able to, to feel safe is an important thing.
In that sense then, do you feel, was this lacking in the previous Warpaint album?
No, it's not that it's lacking, it's just, I think there's just more people involved. There's more people and there's not, making a solo album it's just you,
Sure.
It's just me. All of the songs are written by me. There's, most of the instruments are played by me. Obviously, I had other people come and play on the album, but the songs were written by me. I made the demos, and then I went into the studio, and it was a very insular, singular process. Which it was something that I've been doing ever since I started playing music. I mean, like I just told you, I started playing very much. I was by myself all the time, so it wasn't something I wasn't used to. I think the thing that was a big step for me was singing, and having it be my voice in the forefront, and writing lyrics and doing things like that I've always sort of strayed away from in the past. I don't know, it wasn't really into my voice for a really long time, and it just felt like, oh, the girls have it, they sing, I'll sing some harmonies, but I just kind of, let them kind of do that in the band, and would do stuff on my own, write songs on my own, but I was never ever comfortable enough or secure enough to share them with anyone else or the world.
When did that change?
I think that changed probably, right around the time we were writing our second album, Warpaint. Before we were writing our album, I think everybody was writing some material, writing songs to bring to the table, do something a little bit differently than we had done on The Fool.
Right.
And yeah, I started writing songs, started singing more, having, fully structured songs instead of just ideas or maybe just bass. And yeah, I guess I just started doing it more. Just started singing, started playing, and realized that in the past, because I'm not a classically trained singer, in the past I was always trying to emulate singers. Not sound like them, but try and sing. Because I don't have any training, I don't necessarily know how to use my voice, and so I would be reaching beyond a point that sounded good to me. And when I realized that I have my own voice, and I started honing in on that, I started to get more comfortable with it, and also just to let it go, to just like relax and take it to places that are unfamiliar and uncomfortable and might sound horrible, but you have to work that out. You have to get through those points to get to the good stuff. So I think just the more I did it, and just stopped giving a fuck, really.
And then you say lyrically also it allowed you to be focus a little bit more on yourself.
Yeah, just express my feelings, express my thoughts, which was also kind of scary because, I'll journal or write things, but sometimes you just don't want to go that deep. You don't want to go inside to the darkness. You don't want to go into the past. You don't want to express maybe darker feelings or things that might not make you feel good, but within doing so, I realized that it was actually really therapeutic to do that, and I didn't have to hold on to it anymore. It was a release. It was a release that felt really great, and I'm happy I did it because now I know I always have that outlet. And so it was nice also to have that under my belt and then go in and record with the girls this time around. Felt more open. And
did it give you more confidence as a songwriter going into the new album, the new Warpaint album?
Yeah, of course, because I had just done it. I had written a bunch of songs. I was, did the solo album, and then we went right into the studio. So it was just like boom, boom, boom. Pretty much since we stopped last time, I've just been working. I think I was just in the mode of working, as were the other girls. Everyone was pretty much working, but more than that, I felt like I was really excited to collaborate, and I was excited to hear I was excited to hear what everyone else was doing, and I was excited to participate and write things together and sort of do the opposite of what I had just been doing.
Sure.
I didn't feel the need to go in and control the situation, or I want to put a few of my, I have to write a couple of songs. I don't know, just didn't feel that way. Felt really open and excited to hear what they had to say. And not that I wasn't excited in the past. I think it's just, if you don't have other outlets, I think you tend to put a lot of energy and weight on the one thing that you're doing, and that can be a little unhealthy.
In that sense, when everybody in 2015 went their separate ways for a while, did the band need that?
Definitely. We had been touring for a while. I think we were a bit burnt out, and we needed a break, for sure. And touring can do that to you. I think it's really important to have space in between between each tour, just so you can gather yourself and ground yourself and just separate for a second.
And well, what's interesting, because obviously you all know each other really well, is there something you've discovered about yourself in that while you were alone, in that absence of the band around you?
I think that I discovered that I was capable of doing anything that I really want to do, anything I put my mind to. As scared as I can be sometimes, it's very easy to talk myself out of things that I'm terrified of doing, and it was a big leap for me. So I think that's definitely a big self-discovery right there.
Well, beforehand, then, what would you talk yourself out of? Creating songs, or the?
Yeah, anything. Yeah, creating songs, singing, oh, that's not good. Just the voices in your head that are negative, that are telling you that you're not good enough, or, stop doing that. Just things that hold you back. I'm constantly holding myself back all of the time, and it was important for me to go and do that and explore that side of myself without the help of the other girls. We very much rely on one another, and that's a beautiful thing. It's a different thing. But it was just nice to go and have that experience with myself. And it was also, I was surprised. I enjoyed it, and it felt really good, and it was empowering and liberating, and nice to know that I have that. I have that outlet, and I can do that whenever I want, which also helps with the Warpaint project.
Sure.
If there's a certain thing I write and someone's not into it, I don't take it personal. It's like, oh, okay, well, I can save that for my project or for Jenny Lee, so it's fine.
But and then you say you looked at after going through that, you look forward to the collaboration aspect again. So what was the first thing you started on with the other girls?
The first thing we started on, I don't know, what song was that? I think the first song we started on was Above Control.
Okay.
And that was a demo that Emily had brought in that was, for the most part it was pretty much finished. It didn't really have bass on it, but it had, her and her boyfriend had recorded it. And I think she was going to keep it for herself, but then she ended up bringing it to us, and we all loved it. So we decided that we wanted to work on it, and it didn't have bass. And then Stella, made the drum beat her own, but we got stuck. So we started working on that song, and I think in retrospect, it was probably best that we don't start on something with the four of us that was already written.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So then we moved on to something else, which I think was the stall. And that was just an idea. I had a bass idea, but then I started playing with the girls, brought it into the room, and it just magically, it happened really quickly.
Because I think on the second album, it was a lot of the songs came together out of being in the same room together, the four of you, and kind of jamming. And this time around, it was a little bit different, right? Some ideas, like you say, were already a bit more formed when you started working on them together.
Yeah, they were ideas. I think we did a little bit of everything on this album, and we did the same.
Okay.
We did the same thing on on Warpaint. But what we did in Warpaint was that we went somewhere and we wrote together for a month in Joshua Tree, and then we had a handful of songs. And we had more time to develop those songs, write more songs. We just had more time, I think more time to prepare for recording before we went into the studio to record. This time around, we had little time to prepare because we had taken some time off.
Sure.
And what we did was we went into the studio starting in January, and we had till May. So we were writing and recording simultaneously, which is something that we've done, but it was always like demos. We were always making demos. In that process was never really anything that was on the final album.
Mm-hmm. Did you enjoy this?
Album. Sorry, I'm tired.
No worries. Did you enjoy this kind of time, this kind of deadline above your head? Was it?
Did we enjoy what? I'm sorry.
Having that deadline in front of you and knowing that you didn't have as much time as you
Yes, I welcome that. In fact, I welcome that every time we make an album. I think it's important to get moving. It's important not to get hung up, not get too attached to things, not change your mind about things, overanalyze, be hard on yourself, overcritical. You know, I think it's important to be imaginative and free and loving and sweet to yourself when you're making art, and to just let it go. Don't hold on to it. Don't be so attached to making it a certain way, because it's just feel like that's you just beating a dead horse at that point, and you end up losing the plot, and what you had once that was magical is now
Sure.